Let me holler at you guys real quick. So, uh, I want to talk about what your ex is thinking. So, every student that comes around, they are a little bit behind in terms of the timeline, the when the breakup took place. See, it's happening to you right now, and for your ex, and in her head or his head for the ladies that are watching, you are a couple of months behind. Sometimes it's 1 month, sometimes it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, a year. Sometimes what ends up happening is, actually, most of the time, is when that person does finally decide to leave, they've been thinking about it for a long time. All the previous timelines I just mentioned. What will end up happening is they'll have, like, let's go back as far as we can. And this is when people will say, things used to be really good at this point, and I don't know what happened. Something, it wasn't immediate, but it was like, it was most likely a negative event or an accumulation of something that you guys have had an issue with, so usually it's a consistent issue of something that they don't like, so it'll keep happening, and it's very hard to nail down because it's such a general thing. It can happen with so many different issues, but I always go back to the you didn't take the garbage out, right? That whole thing. When we go back to that and we think about that, you guys can usually nail down, oh, it was that, but she never really said anything, or she never really, right? So in her mind, she goes, I'm tired. She felt it, right? She felt what happened. She felt the negative emotion. She held it inside her, and then the next morning it was kind of just she just felt turned off. So how do you guys feel when someone does something or says something and turns you off? Well, that person has felt turned off many times before with that specific behavior, or maybe it was something you're not doing. So what ends up happening is that moment, they remember it, and it's there. Okay. Now over time, they're gonna say, let's just see how this works out. Maybe it will get better. Women usually do this. So as it goes on, unbeknownst to you, you keep doing that behavior. You keep doing everything that you did, and because she didn't really tell you. Now, I understand that's not really fair, but it's sometimes women don't really consciously understand or know that that thing even bothered them on a conscious level. It's a subconscious thing. Usually what happens is men get weak and show weak behaviors, or they're not living up to their masculine core, their masculine selves. Again, it can be a wide array of things. So I'm not going to just give examples, but you guys can think back to maybe something you guys weren't doing. So, but if you go, like, I usually think back to the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So if you guys have seen that movie, she's like, dude, you were in your PJs for 5 days straight playing video games. Now, I am a big advocate of don't let your girl see you doing the same shit on a consistent basis. That's lazy behavior, right? You guys should be slaying the dragon, working, doing all your things. So don't let her see you do that shit all the time. Now, on weekends, it's fine. Again, everything in moderation. If you want to be doing those things on a regular basis, if you want to be a relaxed person, get an office, you know what I mean? Don't do it in front of her. Because when you're, that's what I do. So when I have and shoot video, when I do video stuff, right? In between videos, I'll play a round of World of Tanks, or I'll play a round of Overwatch or something like that. So you can get that in, and nobody knows. So that's the beauty of being able to do whatever you want, when you have freedom. So I hope that's something you guys want to aim for. So they are thinking, I'm going to, see how this goes. So what they end up doing is giving a little bit more space. They'll distance themselves from you, especially emotionally. So they'll stop kissing you as much. They'll stop wanting to be right in your presence as much. They'll stop wanting to go out, and they'll want to go out and be alone, or they want to go out with their friends. This is very common, and guys are like, oh, okay, whatever, at first, right? And then that will gradually, because you're still not fixing the issue usually, and then she distances herself more, and she's like, you know what, I'm kind of liking this distance. So it's the relief stage of the stages of no contact. She's relieved. She feels good being away from you. There's absolutely not a whole lot you can do unless you become extremely educated and extremely aware of her body language and your faults and so you have to be able to see, oh, that was definitely a mistake. I did this. It seemed to have turned her off. I need to adapt and adjust. It seems like you're tiptoeing, but you're not. It's more being aware of yourself and aware of the relationship and aware of what turns your partner on and off. Obviously, you want to be turning your partner on all the time. And a lot of the times, it's just staying in your frame, not appearing weak. Don't do weak shit. Now, again, that's just a generalization. As time goes by, she distances herself more from you. And then you, at the very end of, let's say it was 4 weeks, 5 weeks, she decides to drop the bomb on you. And when she drops the bomb on you, you're like, I never saw this coming. And she's like, I've been thinking this way for 2 months, 5 weeks. That's why men are so behind. So when I said they're behind, that's why. That's what your ex is thinking. Thank God. I need space. I need time. I need to check my emotions. I need time to myself. I need to hang out with my girls. There is another thing you guys have to watch out for. During this time, women sometimes put themselves back onto the market. All right? You guys have to be aware of that. They sometimes they do that. Or what will happen is they are losing attraction for you. They're distancing themselves, and some stud comes up and he's the new guy. What can you learn from this? Again, what I mentioned before is becoming extremely aware of her body language towards you. Now, some relationships are going to be extremely, different than others. Some people are going to be close. Some people are naturally not clingy in terms of physical touch. So you have to get to know your partner very well and understand what they like and don't like and what they are like. And you have to be aware of what turns your partner on and off. Now, a good way of doing that is saying, look, if I do something that turns you off, you have to tell me. So she needs to know that you're emotionally secure. Now, a lot of reasons why breakups happen is because of insecurity. So when an insecure guy, is with a woman and she's like, I can't even tell him that I have issues with him because he'll just freak out, you're going to lose her anyway. So you need to be emotionally secure. You need to be very okay with criticism. That's why the whole Letting Go book and all the David Hawkins work is so profound, because you can use that to get in touch, not in touch in a feminine way or not too feminine, but you can get in touch and control your emotions, and you can control your ego and control yourself and see your emotions from a distance and not react. You can respond to what's going on around you. That's the only way you're going to have a healthy relationship, where she feels comfortable enough to communicate and verbalize an issue with you. Or if you're doing really well, but you're already going to know if you're doing really well, because she'll be all over you all the fucking time. She'll be kissing you, calling you, texting you. She'll always want to be up your ass. That is the way women are when they're totally enamored with you and they're looking up to you like you're a god. That's when you know you're doing everything right. But when you're doing things wrong, they distance themselves. So that's the two things that you guys can pay attention to. So what can you learn? Become extremely close with your emotions and get over your fucking egos. A lot of you guys that come to me, and I don't mean this in a I'm not trying to badger you or pester you or anything like that, but a lot of you guys have ego issues, and you guys are, so afraid to work on yourselves and look into yourselves and admit, I have problems. Okay. A lot of the students that come to me will say, I need to fix myself, but they don't do the work. I'll say, okay, check this book out. We need to speak on the same language, because I know this stuff from this book and that book and that book. And when we talk, you need to be able to understand what I'm saying to you, because this book will explain it to you in a deep level. And they don't even read the book. And then the girl comes back and they're like, what do I do now, Kyle? And they want me to hold their hand through the whole thing. And that's not fair to me. And that's not fair to you, because you're setting yourself up for failure. And I'm trying to get you guys to be successful. So you guys have to do the work. You guys have to be able to look inside and say, I'm going to do this work for me, because I don't want to go through this again. That was my driving force. Never to want to go through this ever again. If I got to go through negative shit, I want it to be in a different area of life. Something I can control and work through with maybe extra hard work. Not something I can't control. I hate something I cannot control. Maybe that's an ego thing too, right? They are thinking, I'm relieved. I need space. I'm glad I have time to myself. And you are thinking, fuck, what do I do? So if you guys want coaching with me, check the description box down below. So you can send me messages on Instagram or you can email me. But that's what she's thinking. That's what he's thinking, right? Again, too much negativity causes breakups. So if you know that, staying positive is always going to be your mission. And from there, we can work on you. Love you guys. Take it easy. Done.